Charles Manson, the mind that turned chaos into a cult and redefined fear in America. Charles Manson was born on November 12, 1934, in Cincinnati, Ohio, into a family marked by instability, poverty, and the absence of strong paternal figures. From childhood, he was surrounded by neglect, abandonment, and the harsh rules of a social environment that always seemed on the verge of collapse. These early experiences planted in him a distorted sense of power, authority, and belonging, nurturing the idea that controlling others might be the key to shaping reality according to his own vision. Manson spent his early years moving between foster homes, reform schools, and minor prisons. Each confinement and each punishment taught him, in a raw and direct way, that life could be dominated through manipulation, intimidation, and the construction of unbreakable loyalties. It was not merely about obedience, it was about creating an emotional dependence so deep that the other person's mind would become trapped in his orbit, allowing confusion and fear to be transformed into blind obedience. During the 1960s in California, Manson emerged in a cultural context of apparent freedom, psychedelia, and experimentation, fertile ground for his ambition. He founded the Family, a heterogeneous group of disillusioned young people seeking guidance, affection, and meaning from him. There, Manson combined his charisma with techniques of mind control, blending distorted spirituality, music, and the promise of an apocalyptic future to strengthen his influence. His figure grew into a living myth: teacher, prophet, manipulator, leader, and surrogate father, all in one body. The peak of his control manifested in 1969 with the series of murders that shook Los Angeles and the entire world. The victims, chosen at random within a meticulously crafted plan, became part of a ritual that Manson saw as the spark of an apocalyptic transformation he called Helter Skelter, a term taken from a Beatles song he interpreted as a coded message. Chaos, in his vision, was a teaching tool, a mechanism for reshaping social reality through terror. Unlike many notorious criminals, Manson did not seek political power or conventional recognition. His ambition was intangible, ideological, and psychological. He wanted to create a community that responded solely to his voice, a microcosm where he was the center and fear the binding force. He was neither a random killer nor a traditional psychopath. He was a strategist of fear, an architect of devotion who transcended physical violence to take root in the minds of his followers. During his trial and subsequent imprisonment, Manson became a symbol of modern evil. His face, his grin, and his eccentric behavior before judges and the press solidified his legend. To some, he was a monster; to others, a warning about how emotional vulnerability and the desire for belonging can be exploited by individuals with vision and extreme manipulative ability. His imprisonment did not diminish the fascination with his figure. Books, documentaries, and psychological studies examined each gesture, each word, and each decision in an attempt to decode the enigma of his influence over others. Charles Manson died on November 19, 2017, in Bakersfield, California, but his disturbing legacy persists. He represents the shadow of 1960s American society, the danger of fanaticism, and the capacity of a single individual to shape minds and alter lives through a combination of charisma, violence, and ideological manipulation. His story reminds us that power is not always measured in wealth, position, or physical strength, but in the ability to influence another person's will and transform their perception of the world. Today, Charles Manson is remembered as the embodiment of induced fear, the paradox of destructive charisma, and the demonstration that the human mind can be both a fortress and a minefield. He was not a political revolutionary nor a conventional leader; he was a master manipulator, someone whose life shows that the line between fascination and horror can be surprisingly thin. In the end, when reflecting on his impact, the lesson is unsettling. Human history can be altered by those who possess the talent to dominate the minds of others, that the cult of personality can arise in unexpected contexts, and that vulnerability and the search for identity can become weapons in the hands of those who understand psychology as a field of power. Don't forget to like, share, and leave your comment. Write who you want to see in the next video. The next story could be your choice.